Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Belgobin, and I am the principal of Simply Improve Health, and I help people to train better and longer, have improved sleep, and enjoy better quality of health using simple products and simple techniques. This evening, I am going to share with you some tips about hand reflexology, which can give you some much needed relief, whether it be from pain or stress, while you're on the go. Now, I recently received a new friend request from someone who had never had a treatment before and had received a gift certificate for massage or reflexology. So for her and for you, I'm going to talk a little bit about what reflexology actually is, and then give you some tips that you can take away and use whenever you need them. Now, most people are aware that reflexology is done on the feet. I, on the other hand, trained in California, and I was taught to also do reflexology on the hands. And most people are surprised when I tell them that hands, yes, hands. And in fact, the hands, the feet, and the ears have reflexology points on them that can be treated, but though because the ear is so small, that's usually the realm of acupuncturists. But what reflexology is that in the hands, feet, or ears, there are points on them that correspond to different parts and organs of the body and systems of the body. So you can, in essence, work on remote or inaccessible parts of the body through the hands, feet, or ears, now, which reflects back to that particular part or organ, hence reflexology. Now, what a reflexologist does is looks for indications that there's a blockage of energy flow, because reflexology works on the principle of energy flow. So that when there's a blockage of the energy through an organ or a part of the body, what happens is that little salt crystals will form. And that's what the reflexologist seeks out, and does a particular technique to be able to break those crystals up so that they're eliminated from the system. Now, what that can do is relax the person, of course, but also to provide pain relief when needed. And how long that pain relief will last actually depends on the person and their situation. It could last for maybe just a half an hour, or it can last for as long as 2 weeks, the effects. It just depends on the particular situation. But while we're not doctors, we can't prescribe anything, we can't diagnose anything, as an adjunct to medical treatment, it's wonderful actually, because you pick up things that quite early sometimes before doctors can even pick it up. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I'll give you an example. I was running a therapy project in a local community for over 50s. And one lady who was coming and having treatments, and I was giving her hand reflexology. And I kept noticing in the reflex point that corresponded to her arm and her shoulder that it just seemed not to improve. Despite regular treatment, it would get better, but it would come back again. And I suggested to her that she needed to go see her doctor because there was something going on with her arm or her shoulder. As it happens, sometime later, the lady came back to me and said that the doctors examined her arm. That no, they ran an MRI or what it was, but they examined her arm and shoulder, and found a blood clot. And actually told her, said, if you had come to us any later, we'd probably had to amputate the arm. So, and that's, well, I mean, I kept it feeling something was going on with her arm and shoulder, and so it was. So as an adjunct to treatment, it can be very helpful actually to medical practitioners. Now, I don't understand why exactly they don't teach in reflexology courses. They don't here in the UK. They don't teach people how to do reflexology in the hands because it's a great icebreaker, and it's also allows me to work wherever and whenever. At choir rehearsal, somebody's got a headache, give them, years ago, give them a little bit of reflexology on their head reflex to reduce the headache. No aspirin needed, and it takes effect very quickly. I was at some years ago, a local community group, a Bengali group, was celebrating Eid, and they had asked the charity that I work with to provide various therapies. And to kind of break the ice, I was one of the people who were doing therapies that could be done in public. I was doing reflexology on hands. And at first, nobody would come to me. But finally, one older lady, she came over, she sat down. I didn't speak Bengali, she didn't speak English. But the look on her face and the excited chatter that went on when she went back to tell her friends about her treatment brought a flood of people over to me. And I was over busy. It was overbooked the rest of the time that I was there that day. So it allows me, as I said, to be able to work on people anywhere, anytime. And so I decided that today I would share a few tips that won't turn you into a reflexologist, but will certainly help to alleviate common problems and issues that may come up for you. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is for something that a lot of people suffer with, particularly if they sit slumped over their desk every day at work, is backache. Now, this in the right on your hand, whether you're looking at the right or left hand, along the thumb along the outside of the thumb represents the spine. So if you're suffering with back pain or something, you would follow along, massaging along, feeling along. It may feel a bit sore. You may actually feel crunchiness, which are the crystals that I mentioned earlier. And when you find that spot, that's a little bit sensitive, but I have been having trouble with my lower back lately. Massage that point. Not too hard, not too soft. I mean, you'll gain a feel of how comfortable how much strength you can use, but not too much. And if there's crystals there's crunchy bits there, must work gently on them until you don't feel them anymore, or it doesn't feel so sensitive anymore. And the proof of that is to come back. Hey, William, is to come back and try again. In a few minutes, you should feel a difference. So that's for the backache along the outside edge of the thumb. Let's see, if you have a tendency to stomach problems, whether it be wind or indigestion, pretend you have a 50-cent piece or a 50p piece in the middle of your palm here, and massage clockwise. And for you millennials who don't know what clockwise means, it means you go in a circle clockwise. I mean, following the direction of a clock. You mean at 12, 6, 3, and 9. You follow from 12 back to 12 in order. That's clockwise. I understand that they've even taken down clocks in schools these days because kids are so used to digital watches and their mobile phones that they don't know how to read a clock face. So there you are. That's how you read a clock, folks. So you massage clockwise, and it's important that you massage clockwise because if you do it the other way, you'll constipate yourself unless you're suffering with diarrhea, in which case you would want your gut to be a bit clogged, not clogged, but to slow down the flow, as it were. So clockwise in the middle of the palm for stomach upsets. For ladies, if you're having problems with PMT and cramping in particular, if you take your wrist just in front of the wrist bones, you'll find like two little hollows and massage there. There's the two side on either side that represents the ovaries, and if you rub around the wrist this way, that represents the fallopian tubes. And I will provide relief from colic and period pain. But before the wrist bones here, you massage there and around the wrist. If you think you've got an incipient sore throat with cold and flu season coming up, your thumb represents basically your head, the sides of your head, the back of your head, and the front of your head, including your teeth and your throat at the bottom. So if you're developing a bit of a sore throat, or you may have a sore throat, here's one way to help alleviate it. Around the base of either thumb, just ring it like you were wringing it out around the thumb. On either hand, same thing. And that will help massage the reflex point for the throat. Sinuses. If you've been having problems, if you suffer with things like hay fever and whatnot, and your sinuses and your eyes may get all a bit bleary and whatnot from that, what you can do between the fingers, they double up a bit because the hands are smaller than the feet, but in between here and here, well, I'll do it this way so you can see better. Here and here are the reflex points for the eyes. This one here in the middle also doubles up as the ear. So it's eye, ear, and ear, ear. Yeah? You can massage in between there, just doing like this, in between, to massage the reflex points for the eye and the ear. So there you have it. You have it shown you how to reduce headaches. Headaches, you just massage the head, your thumb, which represents the head, along the sides, along the back, and again along the front. And the throat is at the bottom. The spine, along the back, the side of the thumb on either side, on the outside edge of the thumb, represents the spine for backache. For the eyes and ears, the space is in between the fingers here. And for period pain, ringing around the wrist, just before the wrist bones, and massaging the little hollow spaces just before the wrist bones. Hello, Silvio. So hand reflexology is something that you can do anytime, anywhere. I taught carers, unpaid carers, people who are caring for family members or friends, how to do this to give themselves a bit of self-care, but also to give a bit of maybe pain relief or improved sleep to the people they were caring for. And like I said, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be a reflexologist. These are things, simple things that you can do for yourself. Oh, and I forgot one more. For the indigestion, just a reminder, think of a 50p piece or 50-cent piece in the middle of your palm and go clockwise, not counterclockwise. So I hope you found those tips useful. If you have any questions, you can certainly get back to me. I'm always happy to answer any comments. If you'd like to leave any emojis, wows, love hearts, thumbs up, do that too. I enjoy seeing those. Thank you all for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it and got something useful out of it. And I will see you sometime in the near future. Have a great evening and a great rest of the week. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. My computer won't shut off.